Cornucopia is a farming sim RPG that was released in early access on PC in 2023. As of June 2024, it is currently still in early access, so this review will cover what has been released so far. I originally heard about the game from my friend Mint, who told me that a character in the game looks like me, and, well, she does. So being very vain, I wanted to play the game for myself. Developers, thank you for a key. The story doesn't really start off like a typical farming sim. Your character is found in the mines, frozen in a block of ice 100 years after you entered said mines. The townsfolk bring you back to life, and you're given a worn-down farm to call your own and restore to its former glory. Your character can be customized in the beginning, but everything is basically the same no matter what you choose. You start out with a small house, a storage shed, a chicken coop, and a barn, along with a greenhouse that can be fixed up later on. I would compare it to Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley, but with graphics from Paper Mario. It's a 2.5D game, so everything is 2D in a 3D environment. I've always loved the first two Paper Mario games, so seeing this type of game design immediately appealed to me. Despite seeming like a typical farming sim RPG, there is a lot that makes it stand out. I'll talk about each location and what you can do in them. Like I said earlier, you have your very own farm with buildings to help build your fortune. There are additional buildings you can buy for your property, like a bathhouse. You can also purchase other homes that are in various areas of the map. Every home you own can be decorated so you can put beds in your other houses to sleep for the night if you don't feel like going home. The other houses aren't super expensive. If you sell the right items, you can purchase them early on. You start the game with your pet dog Munger, a bulldog who can talk, but only you know that. You can give him food and water, but so far there are no negative effects by just ignoring him, which I'm doing, because I always forget about him, and he's ugly. I want Pickle and or Mr. Mochi as a pet instead. You can get other animals for your farm, and they also do not need to be fed to survive. You can brush them to get them to like you more and yield better produce. One thing that's unique about this game is that your animals can be companions and follow you wherever you go. They'll help you break down rocks and trees, along with fighting off enemies. You'll need to keep an eye on their HP and energy when they're with you, though. You can plant crops to harvest and sell, and there are a handful of machines you can craft to help make more money, like the refiner. I usually have the machines running in the background to get gems to put in my shipping box. Everything you sell in the shipping box will be picked up at 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. It keeps a total of how much money you'll be making from that shipment at the top of the menu. Outside of your farm is a very expansive island. The town has many facilities that are on completely different parts of the map. Something they added recently was the ability to fast travel. Certain areas have a special signpost you can interact with to choose where to go. There are a lot of stores you can buy things from, like the general store, the farm store, the plant store, the carpentry store, the fish market, the restaurant. I'm probably making up some of these names. Each store has tons of items for sale, and what they have changes every day. There are a couple special businesses as well. These would include the auction house and the arcade. The auction house is just what it says it is, but bidding from NPCs is done remotely. Apparently no one wants to walk down to the huge empty building to buy things. Every so often, an item will be placed up for sale and you can bid with the NPCs for it. It shows you the normal price for the item and what the bids are currently at. You can also place up to 3 items a day for auction, including your livestock. The NPCs will bid on the item, and sometimes you get way more money than if you just shipped it, but there's also the chance that you get almost nothing, kind of like real auctioning. The arcade is enormous and has so much to do in it. It might be even better than some IRL arcades. There are multiple rooms with many different minigames to play. You have slots, you have a coin pusher, you have a hoop throwing game, you have a crane game. There is a lot. There are a small number of festivals currently, and each one allows you to play a minigame based on an arcade game, so you can level up your skills there as well. You can earn tickets from playing these games and use them to redeem prizes. Some key items are only available through the prize counter. There are also vending machines that sell useful items, a food court upstairs, and a racing field for your animal. There's also a scary T-Rex cut out by the entrance that I don't like seeing because I'm scared of dinosaurs. Other than the shops, there are also residential homes. All of them are pretty unique, and each inhabitant has their own room. Depending on your relationship with the NPC, you can gain access to go inside of the room. Something funny that I totally thought I would get in trouble for is the fact that you can go through their mailboxes and take whatever's inside. Apparently, they don't care about getting their packages, they'll just watch you take it. Sometimes nothing will be in there, sometimes you'll find a rare item, and sometimes you'll find an active bomb. So they either want you dead, or you just saved them from being blown up by a mysterious hitman. There are over 50 NPCs to befriend and possibly romance. Basically, anyone is able to be romanced unless they're already married or underage, which is only a handful of NPCs. They all have their own schedules and preferences for gifts. You have a journal to keep track of everyone, and it will save their birthdays and favorite items when you increase their affection for you, along with showing any cooking recipes they will teach you. Currently, there is no limit on how many gifts you can give per day. I thought it was 1 per day because, that's usually how it is. If you learn what their favorite item is, you can just keep giving it to them to max out their affection immediately. I have a feeling this will be changed in later versions of the game though. If their affection for you is high enough, not only can you enter their bedroom, but you can redecorate it. Which means stealing their furniture because I either don't want to buy it or it's not available to buy at the moment. I didn't like Stanley and felt bad for his wife, so I took everything out of his room and made hers nicer. Almost every NPC is unique. I say almost because a couple seem like generic whatevers. Most have a very distinct design, but I keep mixing up all the old people. You can befriend not only humans, but animals, kappas, and spirits as well. Again, almost every NPC is romanceable. When they're maxed out, you can give them an item to begin dating from the arcade, and then win an engagement ring from the arcade to propose with. So far, Charlotte hasn't accepted my proposal. Maybe she wants a ring that isn't from an arcade, or maybe it's because we look too similar. There is a main storyline quest where you need to clear out the mines on the island by getting every fruit gem thing, which are earned through NPC events. The mines contain enemies along with resources for you to mine or harvest from, like rocks with gems and strange mushrooms for mushrooms. On the 10th floor is a boss room, and you need certain fruit gems to open the door. Right now, the mines all look pretty similar, but it says they're undergoing makeovers during early access. The monsters can be tough sometimes, but if you have your pet with you, it gets easier to defeat them. If your pet is defeated, they simply teleport back to your farm and you're left to fend for yourself. If you're defeated, you wake up at the clinic with a 2,500 gold bill. Oh, also, the nurse is apparently an AI. It was a hard toss-up between her and Charlotte. One of the most unique aspects of the game is the card system. There are different cards for you to collect and use. Scratch cards are used to get random items, random quest cards, and random cooking recipes. Quest cards will give you a task to do and reward you with a treasure chest for completing it, such as watering 25 plants or talking to a specific NPC. There are also effect cards that can help you with your daily life, like making enemies weaker, auto-watering plants for you, decreasing the risk of an NPC outbidding you in an auction, and so on. I didn't realize I could use the cards until a bit into my game, and it made everything so much easier. The fishing system is also extremely unique. Instead of just pressing a button, you press a button to play a ball drop game. Whichever fish, plant, whatever has the most dropped on it is what you receive. There are different types of fish you can reel in depending on the location and the type of bait used. There were a few things I had issues with, as it goes. Some of the dialogue from NPCs had them saying what they were doing. Like, instead of asterisk shuddering asterisks, it would look like the NPC was saying shuddering. It was funny, but it also confused me a bit when I was reading through it. I mostly play with controller because I prefer that to mouse and keyboard. The game is playable on controller, but if I tried scrolling through the list of cards with my D-pad, it would go way too fast. I had to switch to my mouse to go through them. And if I used my keyboard, the entire game would freeze, then freeze my computer, then either crash or require me to restart my computer. Which was annoying if I just got finished doing something I wouldn't want to redo. I have posted about these issues in the community hub for the game, and the developers said they will be working on fixing them though. You can switch between versions of portraits for the characters, and there were some older designs I liked better, like Pickles and Nancy's. but overall, I liked how most of the characters look. So this game is a ton of fun and there is a ton to do. I have over 40 hours in it and still feel like I'm barely scraping the surface. I finished the main story and have new goals to work toward now. I can only imagine how much more I'll play when new content is released. I am so very grateful for receiving a key from the developers on Keymailer. I highly recommend this game if you're a fan of Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, Stardew Valley, My Time at Portia / Sandrock, etc. Honestly, I could never really get into Stardew Valley, but Cornucopia just made time fly by. It's a labor of love and you can tell how much time and effort was put into it. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content. Let me know, let's see. Fuck. Let me know what your Let me know what your favorite farming sim RPG is, like Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, etc., etc. If you've played Cornucopia, who is your favorite NPC? Thank you to everyone on Patreon who supports me. Thank you for stuff. I have Redbubble and Twitch and Patreon that I already mentioned in a game demo, and I need to stop doing these unscripted because I mess up too much. Thank you for watching.